So, of course, the NBA, with a lot of hot topics going on at this point, there are a ton of things going on with the Los Angeles Lakers, one of the main hot topics in the entirety of the NBA. Now, of course, the LA Lakers, I'm going to basically be answering the question, have they figured everything out? This video is going to feature team strengths, team weaknesses, of course, the final verdict, have the Lakers figured everything out? Yes or no? Leave your answer in the comments before I say it after these facts. And, of course, the Lakers' final predictions on the year and where they can possibly end up this season. Now, of course, before I get into this video, make sure to like and subscribe, turn that notification bell. You guys help me out a little bit, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, of course, the Lakers, after a very, very rough start to the season, have now won 4 of their last 5 games, and it looks like things are finally starting to trend in the right direction for the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, of course, starting with good news and team strengths, LeBron James is emerging as a possible MVP candidate, as over the last 8 games, he is averaging 27.9 points, 7.9 assists, 7 rebounds on 52.8% shooting. Man, LeBron James at 37 years old is still showing us why he can quite possibly play like the best player on the entirety of the planet. LeBron James is really, really emerging as an MVP candidate, and I really think that LeBron should definitely be mentioned among the top MVP candidates. He is definitely a top 3 to 5 player in the league as of right now, and man, it's just great news to see LeBron get back to that point after sustaining injury after injury over the last 2 to 3 seasons for the Los Angeles Lakers. Another positive, the LA Lakers bench has really stepped up this whole season. Carmelo Anthony's averaging over 13 points per game. Taylor Horton-Tucker's averaging 11.3 points per game. Malik Monk, nearly 10 points per game. And even Austin Reeves, he made a game-winning 3 against the Dallas Mavericks on Wednesday night this week. Of course, the Lakers also added Isaiah Thomas, who in the G League a couple of nights ago dropped 42 points. Another positive is that Russell Westbrook seems to be slipping into his assigned role. After a very, very rough start, Russell Westbrook is definitely looking better. He's shooting an efficient 45% on the NBA season thus far. And of course, over the last 9 games, he is averaging 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists on 50% shooting. It looks like Russell Westbrook is definitely slipping into his role very, very well, which should be nothing but exciting for Los Angeles Lakers fans. Now, of course, another positive, the LA Lakers are a top 5 scoring offense, and they score 111 plus points per game. The offense is living up to its name, and honestly, what else could you expect? LeBron James is one of the best players and one of the best facilitators of all time. Russell Westbrook is also a great facilitator. His play style fits with scoring the ball, passing the ball, and doing everything that really has to do with an efficient and very, very well-oiled offense. Man, the LA Lakers, their scoring offense is one of the best in the league, and quite honestly, I could see this as being one of the better offenses, even of all time, if the Lakers can really figure things out, but definitely during the NBA season. Of course, the Lakers can also make shots. They are 6th in field goal percentage, which is great. The LA Lakers are also top 10 in team assists, which is another great sign. Of course, another good sign is the LA Lakers, over the course of the season, they've allowed 111 plus points per game. Well, over the last 5 games, the LA Lakers defense has definitely improved, allowing only 100.6 points per game. Man, the LA Lakers have rapidly improved on defense over the last 5 games. I'm really glad the LA Lakers are really improving as a team. The team defense has struggled, and I mean struggled at times during the course of the season, and to see them allow only 100.6 points per game over the last 5 games is really eye-opening for an LA Lakers fan, and it's really eye-opening for anybody who is seeing this team really come together over the last couple of games. Of course, another positive, they have won 4 of the last 5. Now, some of these games may have been against weaker opponents like the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Dallas Mavericks without Luka Doncic. Nonetheless, this is an improvement for the LA Lakers. I feel like LA should be nothing but excited to see their team win. Of course, another positive, and it can be looked at as a positive or a negative, but I see it as a positive. Kendrick Nunn and Trevor Ariza have both not played this year yet. And the thing is, this team could possibly be getting even better with the additions of these 2 players. Kendrick Nunn, of course, point guard. He played for the Miami Heat a couple of years back. He is a really solid guard. He was a Rookie of the Year candidate a couple years ago, and man, he can be really good. Trevor Ariza, 3-and-D player, one of the best 3-and-D players probably still in the league. He is a bit older. However, if these 2 guys come back, they can make this team, and by this team, I mean the LA Lakers, a lot better. Now, of course, we're going to go to the negatives / the team weaknesses. Of course, for some reason, Anthony Davis has struggled this season. Now, 24 points and 10 rebounds, which Anthony Davis is averaging this year, is not bad, but let's be honest. We expected better and more impactful numbers from Anthony Davis this season, and not to mention, he struggled to stay healthy, and he's also struggling from the three-point arc, shooting 18% from three. That is terrible. Anthony Davis needs to be more aggressive in the paint. He needs to be more aggressive when it comes to looking for a shot. I think that's definitely going to improve as time comes along. However, it's really concerning seeing Anthony Davis struggle the way he has. Of course, another negative, the Lakers turn the ball over 15 plus times per game. That is 28th in the entirety of the NBA. The LA Lakers need desperate help when it comes to turning the ball over. And honestly, in my opinion, I feel like the LA Lakers, I think it's really forced by them because, of course, you do have some dumb passes. You do have some things that shouldn't really be happening. However, LeBron James and Russell Westbrook, two of the league's best facilitators, they are prone to a lot of turnovers sometimes, so I can't understand it. However, 28th in the league is completely unacceptable, no matter who your players are. Of course, the Lakers are a middle-of-the-pack three-point shooting team, which is not bad necessarily. Let's be honest. We didn't expect the LA Lakers to be a great three-point shooting team. However, I think they can be better. Of course, you have a lot of players. Anthony Davis shooting 18%. He usually shoots around 34% at this point in his career. Carmelo Anthony, a great three-point shooter. He can improve. Malik Monk can improve. So I think the LA Lakers, for three-point shooting, it's not necessarily a disappointment, but it's really room for improvement when it comes to this part of the game. Of course, the Lakers defense also needs to continue to improve. As I said in the positive, they are allowing 100.6 points per game over the last 5 games. That's a great improvement. However, the Lakers, despite all of that, are still a bottom 5 team when it comes to scoring defense in the NBA. The LA Lakers need, and I mean absolutely need to improve their defense if they want to get further into the playoffs and further into the season. I like the improvement that has come along these last couple of games. However, I still think it needs to keep going. I think it needs to continue, and I think the Lakers need consistency on that defensive side. Of course, the LA Lakers are 26th in turnovers forced per game. Again, this goes back to the defense. The Lakers are really bad, and I mean bad at forcing turnovers. 26 is bottom 5 in the entirety of the NBA. The LA Lakers are definitely better than that. LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, come on. 26 in forced turnovers shouldn't even be uttered out of anybody's mouth with those 3 guys as your star players. That's really unacceptable. The LA Lakers definitely have to get better at forcing turnovers, given the fact that they literally turn the ball over nearly the most in the league. They definitely have to get better at forcing those turnovers. That's a really bad mix to not only turn the ball over, but also not be able to force turnovers. Bad mix for the LA Lakers that needs to get fixed. Of course, another thing is free throw shooting. Free throw shooting for the LA Lakers has been absolutely terrible. They are bottom 3 in the league in free throw percentage. And of course, LeBron, Russ, and Anthony Davis, not the best free throw shooters, but they can all improve this season. And if you want to be one of the premier teams, especially on offense in the NBA, you need to cash in those free points. Those free points at the line can be a make it or break it when it comes to huge games for the LA Lakers. They have to improve that free throw shooting. And of course, for the last negative, and really this is not a negative per se, but it's definitely a concern, COVID-19 has ravaged the LA Lakers. Players like Russell Westbrook, Avery Bradley, Dwight Howard, and Malik Monk could all miss some significant time with COVID-19 issues. Of course, I don't think this is going to be anything terrible, but it's definitely concerning. It's definitely something you have to consider. Of course, it could have spread to somebody else. LeBron James had a scare a couple of weeks back, so I think the LA Lakers need to really be cautious with this approach to COVID-19. And of course, the new strain of the virus, Omicron, they need to be very careful with that. Of course, the whole NBA is really struggling from that, but the LA Lakers, with some injured players and with some players out, Anthony Davis, of course, has a knee injury. You have to be really cautious with this COVID-19 thing and really cautious with injuries in general. Now, of course, for the final verdict, Micah, have the Lakers figured everything out? No. The answer is no, not really. They have gotten better on defense, as you can see. Of course, some individual players like Anthony Davis need to keep adjusting and play better. However, I do think the Lakers have potential to be really good. And this is not me saying the Lakers are guaranteed to be a middle of the pack team. I'm just saying they haven't figured it all out yet. LeBron is playing MVP basketball. That definitely goes a long way into the Lakers figuring out. Do I think the Lakers will and can make the finals? I think they can make the finals if they keep improving and if they stay healthy. My final record prediction for them is 49-33. I think they will finish 3rd in the Western Conference. I would say they're first, but let's be honest. The Golden State Warriors and Phoenix Suns are looking they're sitting pretty in those 1 and 2 spots. I think it's going to be one of them sitting at 1 and 2. I think the Lakers will be right behind them, though. I feel like the ceiling for this Lakers team, NBA champions. Russ, LeBron, AD. I mean, come on. We all know the ceiling for this team is exponentially high, especially if they keep improving. The floor is a second round exit. If all things go wrong, if the Lakers get injured, and if they go back to playing terrible defense as they did and as they are at this point in the season and transition and on the perimeter, then they can very well be a second round exit, maybe even a first round exit, but I didn't want to go that low on the Lakers. However, I think this team, if they keep improving, they can go anywhere they want. The sky's the limit for the Los Angeles Lakers. They haven't figured it all out yet, but I do believe they're getting closer and closer as the games go along, But of course, that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to turn on that notification bell. Help me out a little bit. Of course, TikTok, Spotify, Instagram, all those links will be in the description. You guys follow those for me. Help me out a little bit. Of course, whether you follow them or not, I wish you on the other side of this camera, you stay loved and stay blessed. And without further ado, I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching.
Funky man that lack finesse. Wanna be rappers brag about already being the best. I respect many people for the job they've done. Haters full of jealousy is what I like especially. I like a lot of funky man that lack finesse. Wanna be rappers brag about already being the best. I respect many people for the job they've done.